What's going on, Mr. RapNerd? And I just got back from seeing a new movie that released in theaters today called They Will Kill You, starring Zazie Beetz. Now, the story follows a character by the name of Asia, played by Zazie, who decides to take up a job as a maid in a historic hotel in New York. And on her first night of working, she realizes that she is the target of a satanic ritual that equates to her being sacrificed, and she now has to fight her way out of the hotel. Now, when I first saw this trailer, I was hyped because it looked really dope, and there were massive comparisons to Ready or Not, and I even had that myself because I said it looked like Ready or Not, but just kind of with an action-forward twist, because if you've seen the trailer, Zazie is really tearing people off right and left with all types of objects, from swords, shotguns, axes, and even more things. But I'm here to tell you that this movie is not at all like Ready or Not. The only thing that compares between the two is that there are a group of people trying to kill our protagonist, and she has to survive. But other than that, this film is far different, and I absolutely loved it. I had a ball watching this. And you find that out within the first 15 minutes just how different from Ready or Not it is. I feel like Ready or Not kind of teeters the line of being a thriller and horror, where here, this is a straight up kung fu body horror film. Yes, you heard that right. And it delivers and goes places that you will not even imagine, because the trailer hides so much, and they did it purposely because I feel like they gave us the meat and potatoes of the story that like can sell you and make you want to see it with all of the stylized action that it presented. But man, there was a whole lot more going on with the story itself, the character that Zazie plays, and shit that you would have to just see. Because if I said this out loud, you would not believe me or even understand what I'm talking about. You just have to see it for yourself. So first of all, as I mentioned, the action is very stylized, and it reminds me of a mix of 70s kung fu movies and blaxploitation with the way that the camera moves. Like, there are a lot of shots that pan really quickly in and then back out, or make a little sound and movement with the camera to put the focus on certain things. And the soundtrack even sounds like that as well. And I love the use of music throughout the film. It has a lot of good rap songs. I think that was like a Nas record that played during a really cool action sequence, and jumps back and forth between that, its original score, which again sounds very blaxploitation, and rock music, and it just gives you a full diameter of music that also adds a certain personality to the movie. And I love how fantastical everything is. Like, this movie is in the realm of wire fu as well as wushu, where people get shot and blown far back, like through doors, and people get slung around crazy. And there's a lot of stuff that's clearly wire work, but I feel like it works for the type of film that it is. Even the way some of the dialogue is presented, it's really grandiose. It is a different level of campy that you see in those types of films from back then. Even the way it's color graded, and there's this texture to the footage itself. I don't know if they shot it digitally and then went back and added the film grain, or if it was shot on film, but that grit texture is there, like I mentioned, in the visual prowess of it. And that being said, it's a gorgeous film, a lot of beautiful frames that you can just pause and it looks like it's a painting, from simple shots to characters standing outside in the rain, to one of the money shots of the film where Zazie's character like jumps in the air with an axe and it's slow motion. It just, a lot of gorgeous shots. I think that her character was great as well. She was super badass, but she was also given a level of vulnerability as well, because she gets her ass kicked a lot throughout the movie. So she's not just tearing through dudes unscathed. And even though most of the things that happen are unrealistic, you still get a sense of she is not impenetrable. And I cannot stress enough how crazy this movie gets. Again, when you get to that 15-minute mark, the whole movie just turns itself on its head, and you're just gonna be stuck there like, what the fuck am I watching in the best way possible? And man, when you get to the final 10 minutes of this movie, you are in full on what the hell mode. Because they build this idea with their lore the entire time, because of course it is surrounding satanic rituals, and you hear it in passing throughout with all of the characters. But then when you finally get to the end and they pull the curtain back to let you see what's actually happening, it's full on here. And all I'm gonna say is Andy and Barbara Muschietti are both producers on here. If you don't know them, Andy is the director, Barbara, his sister, is the producer, and they are both behind It Chapter 1, 2, and Welcome to Derry. And if you've seen how crazy both of those got, again, you gotta believe it to see it, because you're not gonna believe it if I just tell you. And to go in on the lore, I really love how they crafted their own type of mythology with satanic cults that I think is pretty fresh, that I haven't seen. And again, it all boils down to the ending of the film when you get there and everything is really revealed. But even early on, there's something that happens that you're just like, what the hell? And not only does it up the stakes, but it makes you wonder, like, how is this gonna end? Because what they just showed us right here, I'm on the edge of my seat because I don't know how Zazi's character is gonna make it out of here. I gotta mention, the choreography in here is spectacular. I love that it gives a combination of fantastical fights where, again, you have people getting blown away and shit just blows up, and it also gets mixed with hand-to-hand combat that's close up and wonder shots. Like the first real action sequence, it does a really good dope thing with the camera work where the viewpoint is from the ground and it's circling the action as it's happening, and you get to see all of the choreography and its glory and how much they put into that. And then you get other fights where Asia, which is Zazi's character, is in a dark room, and the only thing lighting the room is this axe lit fire, and she's just hitting things and it's lighting the scene up because that object just caught on fire. So there's a lot of cool stuff they do with the choreography. And I also have to mention how gory this movie is, because holy shit, I figured it was going to be gory with blood splatter, but it takes it up quite a few notches from just blood splatter. Like, oh shit. And of course you have some CGI in there, but it does keep a lot of the gore very practical, some of which that had me screaming in my seat like, oh my god. So safe to say it was highly effective. So man, this film was a blast to watch in a cinema, and if you are at all interested, please go see this in a theater, because it is that type of movie. I can say right now that this is in my top 3 movies of the year, and I gotta figure out where it lands because of how effective it was and how much of a fun joyride it was. I love seeing these original movies that can take concepts that are already out there, but they can put their fresh spin on them, either through the writing, the direction, the story, the characters, and churn out something that's both familiar but also wildly creative. So I loved this movie. Let me know in the comments if you've seen the film and what were your favorite sequences. Mine would have to be the opening sequence and that one I mentioned in the ballroom. Both of those are crazy. And even the third act is wild as fuck. Like, damn. I just was laughing out loud, clapping at the way the movie ended. So like I said, let me know below. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you so much. And until next time, peace.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.